Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Columbus Street Terminal and our 2024 State of the Port Address. I hope you all will indulge me for just a minute because we're going to go off script. We've just had some amazing news, and I would like to invite Congressman Jim Clyburn, Chairman Larry Grooms, and Secretary Justin Powell to join me on stage, please. Congressman Clyburn, on behalf of our congressional delegation, I think you have some news.
Thank you very much. Let me first of all congratulate Barbara for just a magnificent day today and for her tremendous stewardship here at the ports. And Larry, Justin, now we have been hoping to stall a little bit because at 1 o'clock, this news will get even sweeter. However, we want to announce that one of Larry's projects that he's been working on for a long time, Justin has been committed to this. We just got word about an hour ago that the Long Point project has been approved at $195 million. And the other little project has also been approved on the Clean Ports project. However, we won't get that number until 1 o'clock. That's why we were hoping to wait. But Larry, I'm gonna hand it off to you and you can let Justin say whatever he wants to say.
It is a great day, and Barbara was just telling us the slogan, the new logo, we deliver.
We deliver.
We deliver all around. When our local, state, and federal delegations work together, there's not very much things that we can't achieve when we work together. And a lot of folks came together to make this project happen. It's now funded. Now we're going to ask Justin if he'd go ahead and build the thing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I think today the announcement to make the Long Point Road interchange a reality to cover 60% of the project is a real testament to the power of partnerships. The partnership that Barbara and I have had over the past several months since becoming secretary, the partnership that we have had between Governor McMaster, Senator Graham, Representative Clyburn, and our legislative delegation, Senator Grooms being a major champion for this project for so long. It's just a great day on this particular State of the Port Day to actually announce and make it happen. So it's a great day in South Carolina.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much.
So I've told them I'll share the stage with them anytime for $195 million. We're good, but we're not cheap. So it's an honor to be here today to deliver this State of the Port to many of our esteemed colleagues, our customers, our industry partners, our ocean carriers. What a tremendous day to be together. As you can tell, we wanted to shake things up a little bit. Welcome to Columbus Street Terminal. This is one of our 3 warehouses that you see, and we have turned it into something that we like to call industrial chic. But please take a look around. You have our business segment of containers represented by the ocean carriers that are named on each. We have South Carolina-made manufactured products. Sarah, you're here with us today. It shows the powerhouse of our automotive sector in South Carolina. We have different products that you see that move in and out of our facilities. And I think our ILA will tell you, this is where it all started. Breakbulk was where it all started. And then it moved into containers. So really excited to be here with everyone. And thank you again to the Propeller Club for hosting us now for more than 50 years. I want to take a moment, just as was said earlier, to let everyone reflect on our fellow Southeasterners who have been impacted by the hurricanes. Our hearts go out to them. We know that they will rebuild more strongly than they were before because community is everything. And in South Carolina, we certainly know that community is everything. And I'd like to highlight this. As board chair of the Trident United Way this year, I would like to point out that that organization does amazing things. And we can all do amazing things when we work together. And I am honored to be a part of Trident United Way. And at South Carolina Ports, we give back as well. We have had a community giving program now for more than 10 years. And we have awarded $1.3 million to various organizations in the categories of maritime commerce, economic development, environmental awareness, and community outreach. And stay tuned, by the way, if you applied for a grant this year, we'll be making those announcements in the holiday season. We consistently partner with environmental groups as well to help us protect the natural resources that make us all want to live and work in this region. We have preserved more than 3,000 acres in South Carolina. We have restored salt marshes and habitats, and they have been on Drum Island, Crab Bank, and 2.5 miles of shoreline on Daniel Island. I also will highlight for you our newest project at the Kings Grant Marsh Restoration. It's on the Ashley River, and it will bring much needed benefit to that habitat as well. It is part of mitigation for the Navy Base Intermodal Facility. So every time we build, we protect, we restore, we preserve. And we do that with our partners in the environmental community because that's what they do best, and we move cargo. And so find that partner that isn't the most likely partner for you to have, and the best of things will come together. But a port can have the most positive impact on the environment by advancing its operational excellence. If motor carriers aren't idling on our terminals, they're not emitting into the air. So on a daily basis, we concentrate with our gate company, with our stevedores and others in the motor carrier community to make sure that we are not negatively impacting the environment. We work to be good neighbors in our communities by moving cargo in creative ways and listening to community input. This is a journey. It's not a destination. It's just like safety, right, Dan? It's a journey. You don't get there. You're constantly improving. And community feedback is exactly how we landed on selling Union Pier to a new local steward to work alongside the City of Charleston and the community to redevelop this site with public assets for the City of Charleston and beyond. We look forward to this new vision being realized, and we thank Mayor Cogswell and the City Council members of Charleston for their support. The state of the port gives us a chance to come together to celebrate with our customers and our partners and to share our growth story as a top 10 port. But this is also an opportunity to not hide or run from our challenges. Rewards come when we work together to overcome challenges. So let's talk about a few. In March, we began a project that's been called the Tow Wall Project. It allows us to build sheet pile walls in front of the Wando Terminal dock so that we can take advantage of the new depth in the harbor. But that meant taking out one berth of the Wando Terminal at a time. So only berthing 2 ships at our busiest container terminals. When we visited our ocean carrier partners about this, there was certainly concern because they're working very hard on the reliability of their schedules. And this was certainly going to impact that. But in working through our berthing team, who I like to call our berthing ninjas, and I know some of them are here today, our ocean carriers have been able to minimize this impact. But then layer on top of it an additional challenge we faced in May, where we had a technical issue, not a cyber attack, that had a multi-day impact on our operations. There was a tweet that I read on our South Carolina Twitter page. I'm glad I got that right. I don't normally get social terms correctly. And a community member said, well, where is Barbara Melvin? She's probably Googling cybersecurity in her 5-inch yellow heels. Well, at least they got the shoe part right. While probably not intended to be a compliment, it's a great reminder for me and our team the tremendous impact that we have around the community, good and bad. So to always be mindful of how we operate and what we are doing and the importance of transparency and to be a good neighbor. Like many ports, we navigated supply chain issues and disruptions caused by multiple things through both canals. But really, again, providing that data, letting an ocean carrier know when the ship can berth, letting a customer, importer or exporter know when their cargo is going to be available or be leaving the facility. It's important. And let's talk about 2 weeks ago. We came through the first East and Gulf Coast work stoppage in more than 50 years. But do you know how we came through it? Together. We were the first port on the East and Gulf Coast to work a vessel. We had our gates open at 6 a.m. the morning after it concluded, and our teams went to work. Again. And let me point out something else. They didn't stop working until October 9th. And that was the day that we cleared our vessel queue. And we still sit at 0 waiting to get into our port today. So the maritime community did not go home until everything was cleared up. That is working together. And then one of our biggest hurdles that we overcame this past year was the reopening of the Leatherman terminal. I joked that it was going to be the only terminal that had 2 grand openings. Well, it did, and it really had 3, and I'll tell you why. Because we had 4 unexpected vessel calls in the last week of September before the work stoppage, and were we quite ready? I can ask the partners. No, we were scared to death. But we opened it, and we moved more than 4,000 containers, and we did that for the benefit of our ocean carriers and our customers who were trying to get goods to market. And we did that successfully. And I'm really thrilled that we have been able to deliver that capacity to the East Coast, that 700,000 TEUs that no longer sits fallow as it did for 20 months. Thank you to our partners for making it happen. Navigating these challenges I just outlined, coming together, it made us stronger, coming out on the other side, smarter, stronger, more agile, and ready to grow. When this port is put to the test, we get creative. We get resilient. We deliver solutions for our customers and their supply chains. Short-term curveballs do not throw this group off their game. And we are poised to significantly grow our market share. We are proactively continuing to invest in our infrastructure to support the booming Southeast market, and we are preparing for the long term and supporting our customers' investments in this market. It's a match. It has to match. People can't invest without us growing. And we are delivering reliable and efficient port service to our shippers and our ocean carriers. South Carolina's maritime community is delivering for your supply chain, and we could not do this without support of many partners. To our board of directors, thank you for guiding our strategic investments that help us create thousands of jobs for South Carolinians. And I would especially like to thank our long-serving chairman, Bill Stern. Please help me in thanking our board for their service to our state. To our statewide leaders, House and Senate leadership, congressional delegation, local mayors and elected officials, and we all know this is the case, and most importantly, their staffs. Thank you for the tremendous support you have provided over all these years. You have enabled us to build critical port infrastructure to support South Carolina's thriving economy. I would like to recognize our governor, our full congressional delegation for their unwavering support, and specifically Congressman Jib Clyburn, Congresswoman Nancy Mace, and Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evett for being here with us today and championing all of our efforts. Thank you to the members of our Review and Oversight Commission. You met Chairman Larry Grooms, who has been serving as chairman since it was established. We also have Vice Chairman Bill Sandifer with us today, who has been a long-serving member, and many other members of the Review and Oversight Commission. We thank you for not only taking the time to learn so much about the port, but for being our cheerleaders when we are in need of help. I ask that all federal, state, and local elected officials and their staffs to please stand and be recognized for what you do, not only for the port system, but for every South Carolinian every day. To our ocean carriers and cargo owner customers, you are the reason we do what we do. Your decision to use South Carolina ports as your gateway to the Southeast is hugely important, and we are committed to delivering reliable, productive, and consistent service for the success of your supply chains. There are many partners that make this port successful. The entire South Carolina Ports team, the three crafts of the ILA, 1422, 1422A, and 1771, Container Maintenance Corporation, Charleston Gate Company, Charleston Stevedoring Company, stay with me, harbor pilots, tug captains, line handlers, motor carriers, rail partners, 3PLs, warehouse providers, the U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and last but never least, the Charleston Seafarers. Thank you for your commitment to our port system. To our partners at the International Longshoremen's Association, especially Harold Daggett, Dennis Daggett, Ken Riley, Charles Brave, Lenny Bailey, and Lance McLaughlin. Thank you for your decades of partnership on our waterfront and for many more to come. And to our South Carolina Ports team, it's the honor of a lifetime to lead you and work alongside you. You deliver innovative solutions to our customers and bring such amazing dedication to your jobs. I want to specifically thank the people who made today happen, because this is not the type of cargo we normally have in here. Ashley, Cammie, Liz, Janie, Laura, Adam and Adam, English and Jean. Thank you. We truly have the best maritime community in the country, and together we are unstoppable. Join me one more time in recognizing everyone for their contributions to our port's success. A recent study by Dr. Joey Von Essen at the University of South Carolina Darla Moore School of Business told us that the impact that South Carolina ports has on our state is $87 billion annually alone. Our port system supports 1 in 9 jobs, and this accounts for everybody I just named. Those are the direct. And then indirectly, all of the maritime and logistics industries, advanced manufacturers, and businesses around the world that our state and our port support. What we do every day makes a really big impact, and those positive benefits ripple across our state and region. Let's see how.
At South Carolina Ports, we understand the reliability and efficiency mean everything to our customers. So every day we work together as a maritime community, delivering world-class port service to thousands of businesses that rely on us to power their supply chains. Together, we help retailers stock their shelves and fulfill e-com orders. We ensure manufacturers have the inputs to build vehicles and produce tires. We connect farmers to global markets, moving their products to consumers around the world. Together, we empower communities, supporting 1 out of every 9 jobs across the state. From global brands to small businesses, companies of all sizes depend on South Carolina's maritime community. And together, we're creating opportunities that propel the economy forward. This maritime community is proud to be a driving force behind South Carolina's success, delivering for businesses, families, and the future of our state.
Every time you see a truck on the road, a ship in our harbor, or stacks of containers filled with goods, or autos on this terminal, it represents jobs and economic prosperity for our state. We are so proud to move cargo for companies throughout the Southeast and beyond, and we are always looking for ways to move freight more efficiently. Our rail-served inland ports were the shining stars of fiscal year 2024 for us, handling more than 24% additional cargo than in the previous fiscal year. Thank you, Team Dillon and CSX, and Team Greer and Norfolk Southern. To support the tremendous growth occurring throughout the region, we continue to invest in Inland Port Greer. With 9,000 new feet of rail, an expanded container yard that handles about 50% more cargo than we do today, we will soon see an ability to double our annual rail lift capacity and increase the additional capabilities of that terminal. This expansion will support our customers in Greer for decades to come. The daily service between the Port of Charleston and our inland ports in Greer and Dillon help us move cargo more efficiently with the added benefit of reduction in air emissions. We now move 25% of the cargo that comes through the Port of Charleston by rail, which is up 12% from our previous amount, and we are on a mission to continue to grow that discretionary cargo. In partnership with Palmetto Railways, if you have not seen the beautiful engine outside, please do take a look. CSX and Norfolk Southern, we are working to enhance our intermodal networks for the fluidity of our customers' supply chains. We know the confidence our customers place in us when they choose this port, and we will make strategic investments in rail-supported infrastructure to continue to support your growth throughout the Southeast. We are also significantly expanding our rail capabilities at the Port of Charleston. As the Southeast grows, port-dependent businesses need direct rail connections and a well-run port system. The Navy Base Intermodal Facility is taking shape on this 118-acre site. When we were together 2 years ago, we actually broke ground on this facility, and you're now looking at the progress that we've made. This state-of-the-art facility will have 35,000 feet of processing and storage tracks and utilize 6 rail-mounted gantry cranes to move containers on and off the rail from truck. Construction crews, many of whom are from our Charleston area, have made significant progress in developing this site since we were together. Site grading and utilities are nearly complete, and concrete paving and track construction is well underway. With the support of our partners at CSX, Norfolk Southern, and Palmetto Railways, the Navy Base Intermodal Facility will make South Carolina ports well positioned for future growth by providing capacity of about 1 million rail lifts, which is triple our current capacity. Soon, a private 1-mile dedicated road will connect this new facility to the Leatherman terminal, which means that trucks will not be moving through neighborhoods, and this enables the rapid movement of imports and exports between the two facilities. The Navy Base Intermodal Facility will move cargo quickly and reliably between the Port of Charleston and our inland ports and beyond to key markets like Atlanta, Louisville, Nashville, Birmingham, and Memphis. Thank you to our state leaders who advocated for this critical project and invested $400 million in state funds for its construction. Together, we are delivering critical rail infrastructure for our state. Our engineering team has played a huge role in bringing these projects to fruition. As you know, engineers love numbers. So one of our lead engineers, Butch Weber, put some fun facts together about this project. If you take Columbus Street Terminal, where we sit today, as a home base, in the construction of the Navy Base Intermodal Facility, we have 33 miles of rail track length, which is the distance between here and Volvo Car Drive. There are 54 miles of supporting pile length. That's the distance to Georgetown. 12 miles of storm drain pipes. That's the distance to the Charleston International Airport. 30 miles of utility duct bank, which is the distance from here to Edisto Beach. Let's move into pounds of ballast and subballast. Almost 818 million pounds, or 164,000 mid-size SUVs. The weight of those 6 rail-mounted gantry cranes, greater than 5.5 million pounds, or roughly 18,000 NFL linemen. Anybody want to know why I'm talking about the NFL? Who knows? Who's going tomorrow? I can't wait. And then concrete paving, 33 football fields, asphalt paving, 18 football fields, and areas of bridge deck, 3 football fields. So how about that? If you can't get a free shot at a bar tonight with these facts, then I can't help you. Both Butch Weber and Walter Lagren and our entire engineering team have been instrumental in building the port capacity that we have needed. And they have both spent much of their careers transforming the former Navy base into this critical port infrastructure. As the lead of our engineering team, Walter has spent 6 years preparing our port for the future. And here's another cool fact. We call him the billion-dollar man because that is the total cost of projects he has brought to our board for approval. Walter will soon be enjoying a well-earned retirement, and no doubt he'll be capturing amazing drone footage and beautiful photos. And with that, I'm so excited to announce that Butch Weber, who led the build-out of Leatherman Terminal from start to finish, will assume the role of Vice President of Engineering and Facilities. Please join me in congratulating them both. Butch, where are you? Thank you. Walter, where are you? Bottom of my heart. Thank you both. We must invest in our port to support the growth of the Southeast market. A growing population and industry base makes South Carolina a great place for cargo owners to invest and ocean carriers to bring new services. Hint, hint. We are poised to grow our market share as more cargo flows through the Port of Charleston. During the last decade, shippers are routing more cargo from the U.S. West Coast to the East Coast, taking advantage of sourcing and transit times to key overseas markets, as well as being closer to the growing population centers of the Southeast. Let's face it, imports follow people. And more people are moving to South Carolina and the Southeast overall. New residents build homes, buy furniture and goods, spend at all of our local stores, totaling more imports for this region. And shippers want their distribution centers for imports near big populations and well-run ports, making South Carolina ports the ideal gateway for the U.S. Southeast for importers. Manufacturers and distribution centers want to locate here because we have the workforce, business environment, infrastructure, and assets to support their investments. South Carolina, because of our leadership, sets the table. We have a strong labor pool for companies to hire from, and we have the industrial facilities, speculative space, and land available to establish new operations, including 1,000 acres on port-owned land in Ridgeville, which is home to the Walmart 3 million import distribution center. And it also has acreage for an export transload operator. We're seeing big investments from a variety of industries, including automotive suppliers and electric vehicle makers, retail and e-commerce firms, food and beverage companies. Companies are choosing our state to expand their businesses and launch new operations. This is driving more GDP growth in the Southeast compared to the rest of the country. More than half, 52%, of all job growth in the U.S. since 2020 has come from the 6 Southeast states. And South Carolina ranks #1 in the nation for both population and GDP growth. I want to congratulate the Department of Commerce and all of those who work with them in economic development on this statistic. For little old South Carolina, that's nothing to sneeze at. The Southeast is where people are investing, and we are investing in our operations to support that growth. More than $3 billion have been invested in port infrastructure in recent years, and that yields highly productive port service. We've deployed bigger cranes, more equipment, and opened more berths to work ships quickly. We have the deepest harbor on the U.S. East Coast at 52 feet, having no tidal restrictions for our vessels. And we are building more rail infrastructure to support the flow of goods to and from the interior. We currently have 3.5 million TEUs of capacity, and we handled 2.5 million TEUs in 2024. We have room to grow today, and we are planning and building for the future. With expansions and modernization set for all 3 of our container terminals, we are on the cusp of having 10 million TEUs of capacity on the deepest harbor on the U.S. East Coast. Let's take a closer look at how we come to this $10 million, that would be cheap, 10 million TEUs of capacity. We'll first examine Wando Terminal. Wando handled a record amount of cargo in fiscal year 2024. More than 1.2 million containers moved across its wharf, even as tow wall construction was going on. We are nearly finished with that project. For our ocean carrier customers in the room, that's November. So we will soon see 3 ships at berth at all times there again, taking advantage of the new 54 feet sitting at the berth. The Wando River has been widened and deepened, allowing ships to turn very easily at any tide, even while other ships are occupying the berth. This allows for more fluidity and movement, keeping vessels on schedule. The conclusion of the tow wall project is a monumental effort, and we are excited to see ships at all 3 berths again. And we make a commitment to you that while we sit today at 33 moves per hour per crane, we are working diligently with our partners to increase that amount, getting your ships in and out more quickly. We strive for 36, but when we hit 36, we'll go to 38. The terminal boasts boasts 2.4 million TEUs of cargo capacity, including a very large refrigerated container yard to support the influx of goods growing in this region. Our modern layout, new equipment, and skilled workforce yield more efficient operations. Truck drivers get in and out of this facility in under 37 minutes with great chassis, and we have 7,000 gate trips a day. Thank you, Charleston Gate Company and ILA 1771 and ILA 1422A for all that you do in the Gate Company on a daily basis. Sometimes it's stressful, we know that. But your commitment to keep that cargo moving is tremendously important. When motor carriers are not driving, they're not making money. When motor carriers are idling, they're emitting into the environment. And these folks keep cargo flowing in our facilities. We just talked about this before I started, but I had a line in here to congratulate the Department of Transportation for working with us and the town of Mount Pleasant to create a new interchange in and out of the facility so that trucks could move even more fluidly. As you just heard here first, that's going to get built. And we thank again the congressional delegation and the Secretary of Transportation, Justin Powell, and our legislative leadership for all of their support and vision that, along with Mayor Haney and Town Council, brought this to fruition. They created a maritime district in and around the Wando terminal, and it's just been a tremendous effort. So thank you again to everyone. Beyond HLT, our next, which is Leatherman Terminal, by the way, we are so famous for using initials. Beyond Leatherman Terminal, our next major slate of capacity will come from an enhanced and expanded North Charleston Terminal. With great support from our state, once again, the state stepped up when we had an unplanned expenditure. We were able to purchase the former West Rock Paper Mill site in North Charleston to further expand our port capacity on the deepest harbor on the U.S. East Coast. We hinted at this last year. Does anybody remember we kind of showed a picture of North Charleston Terminal and there was a little bit of a view of the West Rock site? We had just started working on it and we closed on this property in May. Anybody that thinks South Carolina can't do something that they have put their mind to doing in a quick fashion is not correct. When we decide on something and it's great for our state, we move. This 280-acre industrial site sitting adjacent to our North Charleston terminal along the Cooper River allows us to have 5 million TEUs of capacity when combined, 5,000 linear feet of berth, and more than 400 acres of terminal space for cargo in the future. To Mayor Burgess and Council, we look forward to planning this with you. We will modernize the terminal with a more efficient layout, upgraded cargo handling equipment, and significant new container capacity, yielding even more reliable, productive port service. The South Carolina Department of Transportation is stepping up once again, playing a pivotal role with plans to replace and raise the Don Holt Bridge, not just for us, but for cars as well, with expanded lane capacity. Plans are moving forward to achieve a 52-foot channel between the Leatherman Terminal and the North Charleston Terminal. This effort is being led by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and again, we thank our congressional delegation for placing this language in the Water Resource Development Act. When these projects are complete, the biggest container ships calling our port today will now be able to access the North Charleston Terminal as well. Before we move on to the Leatherman Terminal, I'd like to share a story. In February, when we received word that the U.S. Supreme Court had denied our petition for cert regarding the labor case at the Leatherman Terminal, we took a day, and then the next day, we got to work. And during those meetings, Ken Riley, who is an international vice president here in Charleston, told me a story. And if you think about it, 1422, the union of which he is a member, had all of their work tied only when ships were in port and working, because they don't participate in our gates today. So Ken told me he and his members for decades, when the cranes are boomed up, they're praying for a ship to arrive. And then when they're boomed down and the ship is here and the boxes are moving, they're saying thank you. So now as you drive around the Charleston community and you see those cranes boomed up, what are we doing? We're praying for vessels. And when they're boomed down and they're working, what are we doing? We're saying thank you. And we're moving cargo for the 1 in 9 people who depend on us doing our jobs well every day. So I thank Ken for telling me that story, and I thought it was pretty special, and I wanted to share it with you. So let's talk about Leatherman. We celebrated together as a South Carolina maritime community a huge victory last month when we reopened. It was monumental for the entire port system and for our state. This reopening unlocks 700,000 TEUs of very much needed capacity, a 1,400-foot berth. And it provides more flexibility and fluidity within the U.S. East Coast port market, further supporting businesses that depend on our port on a daily basis. This state-of-the-art container terminal is big ship ready. 5 ship-to-shore cranes that sit 169 feet above the dock, and 25 hybrid rubber tire gantry cranes that work the yards. In partnership with the ILA, employers, and the greater maritime community, we are once again moving cargo and providing excellent port service at Leatherman Terminal for the benefit of our ocean carrier customers and cargo owners. We reopened the terminal with a major weekly service from one of our ocean carriers, Zim. You see their box over here. The first weekly call was this past Saturday, and it worked very productively and very safely. This First in Asia call provides shippers with a critical weekly connection between Asia and the U.S. Southeast consumer market. This weekly service is the first of many to come, and we celebrate seeing cargo moving through that terminal again. The reopening of the Leatherman terminal makes our entire port system more competitive in the Southeast, and we are nowhere near done. Today, I'm excited to announce that during our board meeting, we discussed a project to construct another 1,600 feet of berth for the Leatherman terminal wharf, which would give us a total of 3,000 feet of berth, 2 ships at a time, and we are opening those bids for that project on November 12th. So we hope to award this early part of next year, and that wharf construction will then be underway. So what about the backup land? We have already completed more than 3,000 TEUs of backup land, which represents 25% of our Phase 2 capacity expansion. We have surcharged 6,700 additional slots of capacity, representing 50% more land. So 75% of Phase 2 is either complete or surcharged, leaving only 25% that we have to get to work on really quickly. We've completed another 900 feet of the wharf road behind the berth that we'll be constructing, which is really important if you think about the efficient movement of trucks bringing boxes to and from the vessels. All of these investments that we're making today in our port complex support the tremendous growth occurring in the Southeast for decades to come. So let's total it up. 3 big ship-capable terminals on the deepest harbor on the U.S. East Coast, rail and barge served, last-mile connectors built, just funded, being built or in the planning stages, equals 10 million TEUs of capacity. And ladies and gentlemen, that is unmatched. We all have similar equipment. We've got concrete, we've got rail tracks, we've got roads. But our differentiator here in the South Carolina maritime community is our people. Our port is only as good as its people, and we have the very best. The skilled workers piloting the ships, Creighton, our captains on the tugs, operating the cranes, running the terminals, driving the trucks, transporting containers on rail. They are the workforce that ensure businesses and communities get the goods that they need. South Carolina's maritime community pulls together to support shippers, including manufacturers, farmers, and retailers who utilize our port to access facilities around the globe. The workforce throughout the Port of Charleston remains focused on delivering highly productive, reliable operations and world-class service to our customers. South Carolina Ports is a powerhouse port, and we work every day to be your preferred port on the U.S. East Coast. You can count on South Carolina's maritime community to deliver consistently, reliably, and efficiently for your supply chain. Let's see this in action. I'm always proud to see our maritime community doing what they do best. As we conclude, it only seems appropriate to end with a toast. And I'll be honest, it's because I have often found myself in need of a drink during the last year. So, you have champagne on your table. Please grab a glass. To our South Carolina Ports Board and all of our elected officials, thank you for believing and investing in us. To the ILA, the past is behind us and the future is tremendously bright. We will do great things together. To our maritime community, we deliver time and time again. And to our ocean carriers and our shippers, you are our why. We know you have choices, but we are more dedicated, more creative, more aggressive, and we are laser focused on your success. We deliver for you. Let's raise a glass. Let's get to work. Cheers.